Hi everyone, we have about another 2 or 3 minutes, so if you want to get going and have a seat, that'll help us out so we can start on time, because the idea is to get you out on time as well. Thank you. All right, because of time, we're going to start now. So have food and have a seat. So my name is Ruben Roca. I'm the Gear Up Program Director. And I want to welcome you. This is super, super exciting to have you. We're really excited. I know that many of you come from many places, all the way to the south and all the way to the north and everything in between. And we're really excited to have you. And I really thank you for being here. We have something really good for you. Besides that, I want to also mention a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank the Gear Up team here at UEU for putting all this together. You have no idea how many hours they put into this, and planning, and preparing for this has taken a lot of time, and I appreciate for what they've done. I appreciate it. So a couple of things just to be sure. Make sure that you guys have parked on level 5 and 6 at the parking lot. That's what we have covered. And if you're not, you may get a ticket. So watch for that. Also, just a couple of things here and there. Make sure that you know and you see the exit signs. If anything happens, where to go. Also, the bathrooms, if you're like, where are the bathrooms? You got to get outside by the entrance, and you'll see that across from the registration tables. Let's see. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention is that on your agendas, there is a QR code. That code will allow us to send you a survey when you scan it. So at the end of the event, you can give us some feedback on the event, on what we did good, and what we did, well for the event. It will be really appreciated. Let's see. So now I want to kind of give you an idea of how the day is going to be, so you can prepare for that. So we have, besides the Gear Up people, we have other groups that are helping us out. We have Yushi, Key Success, Trio. We also have President Reyes with us, Michele Reyes, Lopez, Joey Elisa, and Angel Romero here with us that will be speaking, some of them. And we're really happy to have them. It's honestly an honor to have them. Also, anyone needing translation, please make sure that if you don't know where the tables are, make sure that you get with one of us or go back to the registration tables for help. So just to make sure that you have the help you need. So now to get going with our first speaker, we're really excited to introduce you to Michele Reyes. And I'll tell you a little bit more about her so you know who she is. So Michele is a mom of 7 and a business owner. Her business experience includes being a professional photographer, contracted designer, top-selling leader for Saints Beauty Company, and most recently a certified life coach. She finds purpose in helping others, see goodness, and creating a life they love. So I want to give Michele a warm welcome. So if you can help me out with your hands, that would be awesome. All right. All yours.
All right, those of you who are still getting food, grab your food, fill your bellies, come sit down. There's tables over here. But we're going to get started here, and I am really happy to be here. Sharing my story is something I love doing because I hope that I can always make an impact for good in the world. So I was invited to come and speak to you this morning, and as was mentioned in my bio, I have 7 kids, and my oldest is 17. I'll show you a picture of them here in just a second. And so you're like my children. Like, I very much know how, what things are important to you and the struggles you're having and the potential you have. That is the biggest thing I feel like I see as I look out at all of you. And so I hope that some of my remarks here can be helpful to you and just give you a little bit of inspiration. So I titled my remarks to spark your creativity. And creativity is something that I just really love. It's something that's really important to me. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but first let me just introduce myself and tell you just a little bit about where I grew up and some of these things. Okay, I don't know if I can pull this out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I grew up in a small town called Ganado, Arizona. It's a blink and you miss it town. We don't even have a traffic light. It's super small. And I grew up with my mom and 6 other siblings. It's on the heart of the Navajo Reservation. Any Native students here? Native American, raise your hand. There's a few there in the back. Wonderful. And that's where I grew up. And then when I was a senior in high school, any seniors here? Raise your hand if you're a senior. Okay, in fact, it's coming up. The anniversary is coming up in just a month or so. When I was a senior in high school, I was traveling much like, to an event much like this. It was an event dedicated to Native American youth to help them get on track to go to college in the sciences. And I wanted to go into the medical field. That was my dream. And as we were traveling late at night. And that picture on the right there is a picture of the area that we were driving through. We hit a horse in the middle of the night, and it caused this terrible accident where I was sleeping in the middle seat there, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Wear your seatbelt all the time. And by the end of the accident, I had lost my left arm, and I had some really severe injuries to my leg. And in fact, as I've done this presentation in the past, I've always said, I don't have any pictures of it because it was well before cell phones were a thing. But just yesterday, I found a video and watched it for the first time in about 20 years. And I found some pictures. So this is actually a month after the accident, more than a month after the accident. And had like I said, lost my left arm. I had major abrasions to my fingers and my back. I didn't show you that one because that was a little much. And then my leg. My leg was so injured that I didn't walk for 6 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. And so this was in the middle of my senior year. It was such a difficult thing for me to have to navigate and go through. And here is something that I feel really strongly about looking back. And that is, you can't control your circumstances, but you can control how you react to them, okay? Different things are gonna happen in life. You're gonna have different circumstances in your life. And there's some things we just can't do anything about. Like, as hard as I could wish, there's nothing I can do about having to live life with one arm, but I can control how I'm gonna react to it. And when people ask me, like, my goodness, that must have been so hard, like, how did you get through it? How did you stay strong? How did you keep going? And I have lots of reasons. I had support of my family. I had my own faith in a higher power. And then one of the other things that I think saved me was creativity. And okay, so I have a question for you guys. How many of you feel like you're a creative person? Raise your hand, nice and high and proud. You're a creative person. Okay, good. Now I want everyone to raise your hand. Everyone raise your hand. Nice and high. Everyone raise your hand. There you go. Because what I hope is that by the end of this, I can help you see that you are all creative people, because creativity is all about bringing into existence something new and valuable. And it might be something that's tangible, like an actual like painting or drawing or craft or something, but it's also the intangible. It's creating a life that you love. It's creating good relationships. It's creating a smile in someone else. All of that is creativity. So here are some of the things I've been able to create in my life. So this one is my cute family. And you can see I've got that full spectrum of children there. And these are some of my other creative outlets that I have. I do Navajo weaving. I was a professional photographer for newborns, nonetheless, for over 10 years. Even with one hand, I was able to create beautiful photography, and posing newborns is like the biggest part of that type of photography. I am a makeup coach. I did design work for a company in Seattle. That blanket that's wrapped around me, I designed that, and then it turned into this beautiful blanket that's able to be given to others. I connect with my culture. Like I said, I grew up on the Navajo reservation, and I make things for my children. That one is Native American regalia is what it's called. I didn't do the beadwork, but I did the sewing on the side. And then most recently, I've ventured into more intangibles, and that's with life coaching. And so I help people create better lives for themselves. And when I talk about creativity, again, remember, it's not just the tangible. These are some other ways that you can think that you can be a creative person. Overcoming your daily challenges. You gotta figure out, like, how do I make this happen? Like, and that, to me, is what creativity is all about, is taking that moment to stop and say, what can I do? How can I do this? What ways can I problem solve? Okay, and that could be overcoming life's challenges or just daily things. And ultimately, it's creating a life you love. And all of you are at this beautiful point in life. If any of you are in physical science classes, you have this thing called potential energy, right? When you hold a ball really high, it's got this potential energy of gravity pulling it down. You're at a phase of life where you have so much potential for creativity and creating a life that you love. You're just starting this amazing, amazing life. And so I wanted to just share 3 ways that you can get some momentum and spark that creativity. The first one is to put good in the world. Okay, seek to put good in the world. With whatever you do, try to make things just a little bit better. Try to show up as the best version of yourself. So here's a little collage of some of the pictures I did as a photographer. I really love the work that I did. I felt like it was beautiful. I felt like I gave it as a gift to mothers. And this picture in particular is one of my favorites. And it's not only just the cutest, isn't it just the cutest little picture? You just want to squish those chubby cheeks. Not only do I feel like it's so cute and so beautiful, like I love the lighting and the shadowing and just everything about it, I love it. But more than that, I love the story that's behind this picture, because I had been doing photography for about 8-9 years. I've been doing it for a while. I mean, this is some of my best work here. And I remember this particular session, and it was a friend of mine who had come to me to do these newborn pictures. And for some reason that day, I was just struggling. And some days I have that. Most days I can go through life having one arm and it's okay, like I'm okay. But some days it's really hard and I really struggle. And that day I struggled. I couldn't get the baby to pose, and I was just like, if I only had 2 hands, like I could do this. And in the middle of that, I had this thought, because our brain sometimes sabotages us with thoughts. You just have to keep it in check. You just have to answer it. But my brain told me, Michele, who do you think you are? Why do you think you could do this? You're dumb. Like, why would you do this? You can't do photography like this. You only have 1 hand. And I let those thoughts were kind of sinking in. And then I just finished up the session. Like I got it together and I pushed through and I made it happen. Sent the mom on her way. And then a while later, I was editing this picture again. By the way, this is actually a what is the word? I think it's transposed. It's actually 2 pictures. I don't make babies unsafe like that. Like the mom holds the top of the head, and then she holds the bottom of the neck. I can't really demonstrate, but it's 2 pictures put together. And so I was putting it together, and I saw this beautiful picture, and all of a sudden my thoughts changed. And my thoughts were, you were born to do this. This is a gift that you're able to give this mom. She'll always remember this precious phase of life. You can do it. And so my message to you is that you need to look for those things that you have passion for. Can you hear me speaking about this picture? Like some of you are like, oh my gosh, it's just a picture, Michele. Like it's in my soul, like I love it. It's something that is important to me. And what you need to do is go and find what are those things that are a part of you, like they're in your soul, that you get to contribute and give to the world. Believing that you have something to offer changes everything as you work to create. That's one thing I want you to look for and seek for, is that belief that you have something to offer the world. Because each of you have something unique and special, and no one can be just you. And so you just need to find that and have belief in that. The next one is to discover and develop your talents. And I say discover because I want you to go out there and try all kinds of things. Try it, and if you fail, decide if you want to keep going. And if you don't, pivot and go do something else. When I was going to college, I went through so many different majors. I went through probably every aspect of education possible. I ended up in human development, and then I did a photography business, and then I switched to being a makeup artist, and then now I'm a life coach, and I've just enjoyed the whole journey. Try lots of different things, discover, and then work to develop them. And a lot of times, you guys, developing them means you have to stick with it. So if you find that it's that passion within your soul, stick with it. Here's one of the things that I thought I couldn't do after my car accident, and that was Navajo weaving. I thought, there's no way. It literally requires 2 hands in order to do it. But I decided it was important enough to me to stay connected to who I was, to weave. I wove that rug right there. I do. I used my foot to help me. I have to stay nice and low, but I made it happen regardless. So first, go discover those things that you're passionate about, and then stick with it and find a way. And with creativity, that's all it is creativity. It's finding another way of looking at it so you can figure out how you can accomplish it. And then the last one is to share your story. My question to you is, what's your story? Because guess what? Sometimes our stories are that lamppost for us to follow and go along. Like, my story has become how I've been able to make an impact and influence others. So whatever your story is, maybe that's something that's going to help you discover and know and find that spark of what it is you need to do in life. I love hearing stories of different people who struggle in certain ways and they end up helping others in those same areas of life. So decide what your story is. And when it comes to stories, this is something I think that is so important, and that is there's two different things when it comes to our stories. There's the circumstances, it's just simply what happens to you in life. I grew up with a single mom. To us. I had a car accident where I lost my arm. It's simply a circumstance. And the most important part is the story we tell ourselves about that circumstance. Am I going to say, oh, because I only grew up with just my mom, then why do I even try to, go to college or do anything? No, I went regardless. Am I going to say, oh, because I got into a car accident and I only have one arm, I'm going to shrink back and just not do anything in life and just feel sorry for myself? No, I told myself a different story. I told myself a story that I am strong and I am capable and I have something to offer the world. And so that's what makes all the difference, is the story that you end up telling yourself. Okay, and be mindful of that because your thoughts are so powerful. What you think about consistently and constantly is what you will become. So choose your thoughts wisely. So in summary, seek to put good in the world, believe you have something to offer, discover and develop those talents, and share your story and use your story to inspire and help others. And I know that as you do, you'll be able to spark that creativity that's within you and do good in the world. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. I encourage you to move forward this stage with that new lens of being creative and saying, how can I use this for my good? How can I do something a little better? Thank you for having me.
Before you go, I want to give you something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate, Michele, thank you. And the chance to hear her story and her experience. I really, really appreciate that. We're going to continue, and I forgot my paper, but I want to introduce our next speaker. Her name is Evelyn, and this is an interesting part of the whole event, but I'm going to get my paper so I can introduce her properly. Give me a second. All right, so our next speaker is Evelyn Gomez from Key to Success. She's going to be speaking on that. And let me give you a bit of an introduction for Evelyn. So Evelyn was born and raised in St. George, Utah. She received her bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Utah